Hey everybody, I am Ryan from Carsonified. Thanks for stopping by. Today I'm going to show you how to do A/B testing on a WordPress blog using some really useful plugins and Google Website Optimizer. In case you've never done A/B testing before, it is essentially testing various versions of text or images to see which ones give you better conversion rates. So it's super useful. We're going to be talking more about A/B testing at Future Web Apps London in October, which you can see if you just head to this URL. I hope to see you there. But meanwhile, hope you find this tutorial useful. Please share any comments or thoughts in the comments below. Thanks. See you later. Bye. Okay, to get started, I want to first explain what is A/B testing. So there is a really good post on 37 Signal's blog, Signal versus Noise, that talks about how they tested various headlines on their high-rise sign-up page. So if you want to go to that, I've set up a bit.ly address for you. Just go to bit.ly/AB-testing. So you can see that right there, which will get you through this page here. So scroll down a little bit and I'll just show you visually what this means. So this is a screenshot here of their sign-up page for Highrise, their product. Now they wanted to test various headline differences to see which ones encourage people to sign up better. So first of all, they started with start a Highrise account, pay as you go, 30-day free trial on all accounts, no hidden fees. Now, then they tried another variation, which was this, 30-day free trial on all accounts. Instead of saying start a Highrise account, they also changed the subtext to sign up, takes less than 60 seconds, pick a plan to get started. Then they did another variation, 30-day free trial on all accounts, and so on. They tried, looks like about 6 of them. And that is essentially A/B testing. What you're trying to do is see which text or images or copy is most effective in getting people to do what you want them to do. In this case, for Highrise, they wanted them to sign up for a Highrise account, and that was what they were testing. So let's get started. The first thing you need to do is get an account on Google Website Optimizer. This is a free tool from Google that easily allows you to do A/B testing. You could obviously build your own tool, but they've already done it for free. So all you want to do is head to google.com/website optimizer. So let's go there. You just want to log in with a Google account. I've already got a Google account, so I'm just going to use that. Great, so once we're logged in, you see your dashboard. You'll notice that we've already been doing a couple of experiments here. So let's go ahead and start another experiment. So if you go ahead and click Create Another Experiment. Okay, so here it's saying, do you want to do an A/B experiment or do you want to do multivariate experiment? Now basically A/B is designed for you change just one thing on the page. Multivariate allows you to change multiple things on the page. Now this tutorial is specifically to show you how to do A/B testing in WordPress. Now I would suggest that you use multivariate, and that's simply because if you do A/B testing, this guy, then you actually need to create 2 different versions of the same blog post. And that causes trouble because you have to have 2 separate URLs for the same blog post. It ends up splitting your traffic, and it's not very nice. So I'd say specifically for doing A/B testing on blogs, you want to use the multivariate option. We're going to actually use it like an A/B test. We're only going to be testing one thing on the page, but this allows us to do it much easier. So go ahead and choose multivariate. And then it asks you a little bit about, do you understand how multivariate testing works, which essentially means you have to identify what part of the page you want to test, and then check that you know how to install the code, which I'll show you how to do. So go ahead and click on Create down here. Okay, great. So now we need to name our experiment, so we'll call it vitamin test. Just because we're doing this post on Think Vitamin. Okay, what is the test page URL? I'm going to test this post on my blog, ryancarson.com, called Super Modern, Ultra Efficient, and Crappy. So the URL for that is obviously up here. So let's copy and paste that into the test page URL. So that is the page that we're going to test some text on. Now what I want people to do is I want them to end up on my About page here. So let's go and get the URL for that. So this is the URL that I hope people will get to by clicking on a link in that post. That's my goal. I want them to get to that page. Obviously for you guys, that it might be something like, you know, a thank you page after they buy a product, or, you know, a thank you page after they sign up for your newsletter, something like that. So let's go and click continue. Google's going to now check that those two pages exist. If they don't, it will say, hey, you know, this page doesn't exist, and you have to check that. So next, it's going to ask us, is someone else going to install the JavaScript, or are you going to do it? We're going to do it. So we're going to click continue. Okay, so now here is all the various bits of code we need to install into our blog post. Now, in order to do this easily, we're going to use a plugin. So let's go to that plugin now. I've actually already found it. It's got a long URL, but if you go to wordpress.org and search the plugins for this Google Website Optimizer for WordPress, it's by Filippo Toso, and it's important to understand that it requires WordPress version 2.7 or higher. I'm actually using it on 2.8.2 and it works great. But just a word of warning, you've got to have at least 2.7 in order to make this work. So you go ahead and download that plugin, unzip it, and then FTP that folder up to your plugins directory in WordPress. If you've never installed a plugin, it's really easy. All you do is copy the folder into your plugins directory, and then you go into your plugins in WordPress. So here we are in my WordPress. You just go into plugins here, and then there it is. It wouldn't be activated if you just installed it. You just have to click activate, but we've already activated it. So great. So once that's installed, that plugin installed, we can go ahead and start adding the code for the test. So let's go ahead and edit that post that we're testing. Here it is here. Edit that. Now, the first thing you need to do is actually turn off the visual editor. You can see here I'm using the visual editor, so let's go ahead and turn that off. I'm going to go down to your profile here, and I need to click this here, disable the visual editor when writing. Check that, and then go down here and update. Great. So now the visual editor is disabled, so let's go back to that post down here. All right, great. So here we are. You can see now this is just the HTML for the post. Now let's go back into Google Website Optimizer. All right, so step one on our test page, we have to add the various scripts. So let's copy the control script. Now let's scroll down, and you'll notice here, I'll minimize these so you can see what's going on. Here's the plugin that we've installed, Google Website Optimizer. You expand that. You check this that says enable it for this post. Now let's paste that code in. All right, so that's the control script. Next, let's do the tracking script. So copy that, paste that in. And that's all we have to do for this page, for the scripts. Now we need to actually install the text that we want to test. So here's the post. At the bottom, I'm going to say, sorry, that shouldn't be in there. Okay. In the bottom, I'm going to test a link to see what copy is most effective in getting people to click through to my about page. So let's go and try that. Scroll down a little. We're back in Website Optimizer. Scroll down. This is how we do that. You copy in the script here under page sections. You copy it there, and this is the text that we're gonna test. So, by the way, feel free to read more about me. And I'm going to make that link our goal page. Oops. Okay. So basically, I've just got a little text here that I've inserted. By the way, feel free to read more about me. And then we close that with this text here, the no script tag. All right, so what I've got here is a simple block of code. I'm going to change insert your section name here to something that makes sense to me. So I'm going to call it profile link. That essentially, you could have more than one of these blocks on the page, and that's why you can give them names so that in the reports for Optimize you can understand which one is being reported on. For our case, we're only testing one section, so you don't really need this, but you might as well fill in something that makes sense. Okay, so that's the text. In the other versions, we're going to change it. For instance, we might say, change the copy to say, it might be a good idea to read more about me, or something like that. You know, something that's more action oriented. So, okay, so double check everything's there. Great, let's update the post. Okay, that's all updated. Now we're back. Now we need to scroll down and do step 2, which is add the conversion script to the conversion page. So this is the URL of our conversion page. We're going to copy this script in there. It's a page in WordPress. So here I'm going to actually edit that page. You can also do it for a post, of course. So let's edit that. And what we do is we go down here. We want to enable Website Optimizer, and we're just going to pop in conversion script. You notice that we don't have to do the control and the tracking script for the conversion page, just the conversion script. Great, and we're going to click Update Page. Okay, so we have inserted the scripts both into the test page and the conversion page. Just make sure that's saved. Yeah. All right, so now we click Validate Pages, and Google's going to go check those pages to make sure they're working right. Great. So you notice that it's saying, okay, we found your control script, we found your page sections, you only had one. It's called Profile Link, and your tracking script is installed correctly. And on your conversion page, your conversion script. So you say Continue, and then we click down here, Continue. All right. Now this is where we actually create the variations that we want to test. So here you can see that we've got the first one where I typed, by the way, feel free to read more about me. I'm going to try a new one. So we click Add New Variation. Let's call it Emphasized. Add that. And I'm just going to add an emphasis tag around it. So let's do it's copied the basic text for me. Let's just add an emphasis around it. See if that causes people to click it better. Now let's add another one. Let's call it Action, which I'm going to try to encourage people to click on it by using more action-oriented language. So I'm going to change this to please read more about me here. I'm actually going to move that link to be the word here, just to see if that makes any difference. I know that's generally frowned upon, linking the word here, but I'm going to see if it makes any difference. So now it reads, please read more about me here. Let's save that. Okay, now that one's been saved. Let's add one more, which is a variation of that. We're going to call it action emphasize. So we're going to emphasize the whole text again. So that's that version. I'm just going to emphasize the whole thing. Great. So now we have 4 different versions. We've got the original, emphasized, action, and action emphasized. You can obviously call those anything that you'd like, whatever makes sense. Now, just to make sure we're happy before we click Save and Continue, you can go up here and you can preview it. So let's do that. Okay, so let's look at the original first. So let's scroll down here and you can see here is the text. By the way, feel free to read more about me. Now let's see the second one, which will be emphasized. Now you notice it's italicized. So it'll be interesting to see if that causes people to read, to click on that link. Let's try the other one, action. Now this is where the text changed. Please read more about me here. And then finally, the emphasized version of that. There you go. So those are the 4 options. It'll be interesting to see which one gets more clicks. So let's close that preview. And we're going to click Save and Continue because we're happy with that. And we are ready to rock and roll. Okay, so this is just a quick summary. It's saying, here's your test page, and here's the conversion page. Now, it's saying we have one page section called profile link, and it's got 4 variations. Total combinations is 4. You can preview that. And you can also choose to send a percentage of traffic through. I would suggest doing 100%. And you also want to leave auto disable losing variations off for now. Okay, so we're ready to do this, so we click Launch Now. Google saves the changes, and it says you have successfully launched this experiment. So it says reports will take about 2 to 3 hours to compile. So if we click on report here, we're not going to get any results yet. So the way this report works is it has your 4 combinations, and it tells you which ones are converting best. Now let me go ahead and show you the live page so you can see what that looks like. Scroll down to the post that I was testing, this one. Okay, so here we are. Cool, you can see that Google's chosen to serve me this variation. The way it works is that once it's shown me that version, it won't show me another variation. It will just show me that variation. If I was to go to another computer with a different IP address, then it would possibly show me a different version. Now, if I click through to that, that's obviously what we're trying to get people to do. That's our goal, to reach my profile page. And eventually, that would be here. That was the original one, I believe, that it served up. It would say 1 out of 1 because it served up 1 visitor and there was 1 conversion. So let me show you another report to give you an idea of what they start looking like when they start receiving some data. Here's one that I had been running on ryancarson.com a little while ago. I don't get very much traffic to my site because I don't ever update it, so the numbers are very small. So here you can see I had 2 versions, the original and an emphasized version. And you notice that it served 18 people, the original one, it also served 18 people the other option. 11 out of 18 converted there, only 9 out of 18 converted there. So what it's saying is basically, listen, this one seems to be 22% better than the other one, which is interesting. Obviously, this is super important because if you can optimize your site so that you get better click-through rates, then hopefully your business will improve. So with that in mind, I hope you enjoyed that little run-through for WordPress and A/B testing. If you have any questions or thoughts, or if you know more than I do, feel free to comment in the section below. Thanks a lot. Bye.